in your opinion, I guess, being involved on the administrative side of things, tell me a little bit about some of these challenges in really growing climbing within Australia. And then I guess the second part to it being, what do you think needs to be done to perhaps overcome these challenges?
Yeah, look, we have some great challenges, which any climber loves. Any climber loves challenges. That's all we do. We pick a challenge and we try to surpass it at an individual level, but also, as a group, as a community. We have many challenges. This is true, especially since we've joined the Olympic Games, which is really unique for the situation here in Australia as a national sporting organization. We were talking before about Europe and France, where the national sporting organization are, multi-million-dollar company, and they have, tens and tens of employees on historical functioning. That is not the case with sport climbing Australia. And we became an Olympic sport. So we are just part of a new one of these very few Olympic sports, and we have the same goal and the same objective than them. And it puts us at a stage that is completely different from the one we used to have. And this has evolved. We were saying it's so fast. This is, only since 2016. And if you remember the couple of dates I were mentioning, the 2016 is when we had only a few state organizations here, only a few people involved in the sport. So with these come challenges. This is true. Some of the biggest we have, I think, in Australia are the access to facilities on particularly government funding facilities, focusing mostly on the high performance level of the sport at this stage on competition climbing. It can become quite difficult as a state or national organization to be able to train the athletes to the level we want to train them, or to be able to run the competitions to the similar level that what we can see on the international scene, because we don't have many facilities that are at an international standard first, but also because most of these facilities are private businesses. And while we do have some great relationship with them, at some point the balance is between their goals as a business and their need to run as a business, and our needs for us to be able to access these facilities to develop our sports can only go so far. So this is something that we've been working a lot with most of our state boards on engaging with local governments and local councils in order to be able to potentially have a government-funded facilities or partnership, private / public partnership, to be able to develop such facility, which will allow to bring the terrain on the standard that we need for our athletes, but also to release the pressure that we put on our friends from the businesses that are currently running. And this is, this is really difficult to be able to manage this reliance on the private businesses, on to constantly, be putting the pressure in some ways on them, because we need them, right? And they are supportive and they do want the sport to grow as well. But the need for us to have access to a publicly funded facility for the purpose of high performance on training, but also competition, is something that's certainly one of our biggest challenge at the moment. That's the number one, I guess. And with this will come more things. I think as the sport grows, there is the need for the sport to standardize itself, and there's actually a lot of work that is being done at the national level at the moment, and also to grow our workforce. We've seen the sport developing really fast in the last 5 years. I don't even count anymore. I used to be able to tell you how many more gym we had in the last couple of months or year, but I just can't anymore. So things have been changing. You can imagine that if you double, triple the number of facilities and the number of people that access the sport, and certainly actually the number of people that access the sport, probably 10 times what it was 5 or 6 years ago in terms of just getting access to the sport on a regular basis. So if you grow all this so fast, you cannot build as fast a workforce that is skilled and experienced to be able to support the industry. on whether there's been some great work done on the number of skills on job within the sporting industry has increased drastically. The actual experience on skill set of the workforce cannot grow as fast as the speed at which the industry is going, right? So this is going to be one of the challenge too. And these are discussions that we're having at multiple level at the moment on how we can look at accompany the workforce as well to be able to develop it. And I'm thinking in particular about the wood setters and the coaches that are two really specific skills for our sport. So that's going to be a second big challenge. Alongside with that, naturally, we need more money, but this is, I don't think this is really productive to just say that. We need to find ways that we will grow. I'm going back to Sport Climbing Australia. We'll grow our organization and we'll try to grow it, as fast as we can. And I think we've been doing pretty good, at least over the last 5 or 6 years, in the way it's evolved drastically from, on the number of people that are involved. So, these are the key challenges that we're facing these days. But I'm quite confident that, we will do what we have to do to accompany it.